Okay, what's up, everybody? We are here with one Mr. Herman J. Moore and one Mr. Lomas doesn't have a middle name, Brown Jr. And we are here to talk about the Lions and Bills. We're here to talk about some team injuries and then what that means for the Super Bowl hopes that the team had. So, which one of you would like to kick us off?
Well, first, I think Lo, being that you're the voice over there with the Lions, and you have insight, you want to give us your take on kind of what's the atmosphere and what's the environment like right now with the
Well,
team.
I kind of thought you would lead off because you're Mr. Doom and Gloom. I have to pick you up normally. So, but I can start off. It's been crazy. I mean, I don't know if you can, Herm, but I've never remembered a year like this. I mean, team that I've been on, the team that I've seen play, that's gone through the injuries they gone through. And it ain't just simple a 2 week here, a sprain here, a twist here. Man, it'd be like season ending injuries, man, that they're taking. So it's just been crazy to see this happen to this team, man, especially with all the hopes and aspirations that this team have. But I mean, it's only so many chinks in the armor that you could take before that armor starts cracking a little bit, man. So, and we're in the tough part of the year. So I'm really down, and I'm down for the guys that have been there all year long, that have been battling, that helped get this team to 12-2. And a lot of these guys not there to help finish this out. So those the guys, kind of the guys that are in the locker room that's been there the whole time. Those are the guys I feel bad for.
To echo a few of those, it's the expectation right now. You can't predict what's going to happen. You can't predict which players are going to be available and how long. You just hope to get players through as much of the season, if not all, healthy. When that doesn't happen, everyone has contingency plans, and every team knows that's why you have a roster of 53 players, because you know that players are going to get injured. So it's all about in the preparation of players that you have that are hanging out in the back. Unfortunately, you always try and protect. You're going to give a lot of the work to your starters. So therefore, your starters are the ones who are going to have most risk of at some point becoming injured. We see it every year. It happens on every team. The Lions are not immune to that. It's unfortunate, and I agree with you, Lomas, that they've gone so far. They've battled so hard to get to this point and to be in such a controlling position. And yet you'd think, given their record, they would have been able to pull away from the pack. But yet you still got Philly there. You still got Minnesota there. You got Green Bay that's kind of sitting and waiting in the wings. And the team couldn't afford to have what's happened right now. And that's the unfortunate part that I see. But I guess the saving grace, if there's one to have with everything that we've seen with the Lions, is this. They have a coach that is going to make sure that he has a team prepared and motivated. He said that he wished he had them a little bit more prepared, or he'd done some things differently this past week. However, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, those guys are going to have to actually work together, because I think the offense is going to have to contribute to helping the defense where they've been injured, and be able to control the ball, put points on the board, match teams' point output. But at the same time, defensively, they're going to have to give the offense opportunities.
But see, Herm, so I see it a little different. My take on it with what he was saying as far as the offense having to kind of carry things now is, I don't think they're going to have to, of course, yes, they're going to have to outscore the teams. But I just think if we're more efficient, and execute better on offensively, then, what that'll do is that'll keep opposing offenses on the sideline, and you taking possessions away from opposing offense. Therefore, you taking scoring opportunities away from the offense. And what I mean is a prime example, this last game. I mean, man, we fell behind 14-0. First series, three plays and out. You know what I'm saying, Herm? We can't do that. The offense can't go out there and do that with the state of the defense with all our guys missing. So the offense is going to have to go out there and be efficient and execute, even if they wouldn't have got points, they needed to go on the drive to eat up some of that time, to get a couple of first downs, to keep Josh Allen on that sideline. But like I say, they went in 3 plays and out. Boom, Josh goes down. You come back in your second series, same thing. Bam, you out. You down 14-0. Now you got to scrap a lot of things that you wanted to do offensively because you're behind now. So that's what I think Dan Campbell was saying by the offense having to carry the load, is they got to execute and make sure when they got the ball that they're executing at a level to where you're keeping opposing offenses on that sideline.
But that goes back again. I hear what you're saying, and I think there's a happy medium between what we're saying, meaning, yes, the offense can go down, they can methodically have 12 play, 14 play scoring drives, get down the field. They got to give the ball back to the opponent. If the defense doesn't stop them, you're getting into a match to where the pressure becomes the offense must maintain its scoring way. They have to turn, they can't settle on field goals. They have to put the ball in the end zone. And if they are in scoring positions, they can't give it up. Defensively, you know that it puts the pressure on the offense. And all I'm saying is that there's a way in which I think they're going to have to work together to figure out what is that strategy collectively. I'm not saying that I'm agreeing with what you're saying,
right?
But I'm saying what, yeah. But all I'm saying
is,
I'm
just saying this, Herm. But look at I'm just saying this. If you look at our last couple of games, Chicago, right? They don't have the scoring output, and we ain't got to worry about getting in a shootout with Chicago. I just don't think, even if our defense isn't at their best, I just don't think Chicago has enough. Right now, I don't think San Francisco has enough to pose a real threat to us because of how beat up they are. Minnesota, that's a different story. I think they can possibly, but again, Sam Darnold, you still kind of, you still waiting to see if that glass slipper is going to fall off the foot. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, if you think about who we got to face the rest of this season, now playoffs, we both know that's a different animal.
But that's what we're going into. It's not problem solving just what's left. That's game planning. So they're going to game plan. I agree with you 100%. Chicago, do you have to watch out for them? Yeah, they're playing at home. You're going to be playing outside. Yeah. You don't know what the weather conditions are going to be. You don't know between now and then which players you really are going to have available. And there's some schemes and things. We know how it is when you have teams that have their back against the wall, and there's things that they can do. There's ways in which they will break what their MO is and what you're used to seeing them play as. Whatever they saw this week, they may turn into the Lions, where when the Lions didn't have anything really to play for at one point, they just start throwing everything out there and trying all these different things early in Dan Campbell's career. You can throw teams off. But only thing I'm saying is I think the Lions, and the concern is when injuries occur, it throws off a lot of things. It throws off chemistry. It throws off the ability to have players prepared at the level that the other players are playing at, because they haven't had the snaps. It's not that they're not capable. It's not that they don't have the talent. A lot of times in injuries, you find those hidden gems that come in and ultimately become kind of the solution to the problem that you've been looking for, but they just didn't get the reps. So Dan Campbell, when he talked about there's going to be opportunities for players who haven't had the opportunity to play to make their mark, I think guys are going to seize that moment, because I don't think there are players who aren't prepared, right? He talked about the depth in which they get the players prepared to make sure that all of them know that at any given moment, your number could be called and play. It's just that it's there. You can't ignore some of the concerns, because we're talking more than just winning the NFC North at this point. There's the postseason, which we know it's like any other sport you've seen, it ramps up.
Yeah, but you got to go one game at a time. You can't.
I get that.
Right now,
there ain't no other way you can go. There ain't no other way you can go but one game at a time.
We don't know what's going to happen between now and the postseason. Heck, we don't know how many guys we're going to lose in Chicago. I'm hoping we don't lose any, but I didn't think, we were going to lose 3-4 guys in this game this season and then injury. So that's what I'm saying. I think we just got to deal with the cards that are dealt and just the game, the next game, because I don't know how they're going to piece this game. Yeah, we're going to get some guys back. Hopefully Anzalone, we'll get him back, which would be a big piece. I mean, the D line, maybe Josh Pascal, he's still around. I don't know, man. This just
So I'm asking this, Lo. So let's dial it up then. So let's chop it up. So right now, if we're sitting here, we're looking to get the Lions have 3 games remaining. All right, so they got Chicago, San Fran, Minnesota, and we know how critical that is. They all, even the Eagles, Minnesota, everyone's got, I think, pretty decent schedules remaining. I don't think
the Eagles got the easiest out of us. Out of the rest of the teams, out of us, they got the easiest schedule.
So what's the concern here? Like right now, I'm talking about if we break it down one game at a time. We look at what happened with Buffalo, and before we leave Buffalo, you're going to face teams, and I want to talk real quick about what I saw in Buffalo, and I want to get your take on what you saw in Buffalo. I felt like they took and they used what teams have chipped away at the Lions all year and found weaknesses or found areas where they could potentially have opportunity. And I won't call them weaknesses as much as there were some areas where there was some exposure, whether it be defensively, whether it be offensively. I felt that they came in and they executed their playbook based on the plays and sticking really only with those plays that they knew were problematic for the Lions. So in a sense, I felt like they got away from necessarily doing what we may have seen them do against other opponents. This was truly game plan against this team because Buffalo, it didn't seem like they could turn it up anytime they wanted to. They could turn it up. Yeah, it was 3rd and 5. It was like you got Josh Allen, and you have different ways in which you can get the first down. They're flexing out the running back and Cook. They're putting him in different places that were just taking advantage of the lack of coverage experience with the linebackers playing in a spread set. And all of a sudden, it became like there wasn't an answer, right, for this team. So I think they're going to face more teams that are going to be prepared like that. Even the Chicago's. I think Chicago, whether they got the talent or not to cover that, they're going to play as such.
They'll play that, but they ain't got that unicorn. That unicorn was Josh Allen. I'm telling you, man, it's hard for me to say this because I have to just kind of think back. But I haven't seen a quarterback like this in a long time. Not in real life, looking at that game. Man, some of the stuff he was out there doing, man, Herm, it was 2 times. This dude rolled all the way to his right side, threw back across his body to the middle of the field. And normally that's an interceptor. It ain't enough velocity on the pass to get back there. Now, I think both of them were incomplete passes, but he put it right there where the guy could have had it. It was just a good defensive play on our part. You never see quarterbacks doing that. Man, how he was running the ball, how he was buying time. Herm, I could say we won't face another quarterback. Hopefully, I know this regular season we won't face, and I'm trying to think on the NFC side of the ball. Man, Herm, we ain't going to see another quarterback like that. It was incredible seeing him play in real life. And like I said, we've been around the game a long time. You don't just throw that out there. But it was incredible. So I just think that guy was all on another level that we couldn't contend with. And he was making things happen, Herm. He was making guys better. He was holding on to the ball. A couple of times they had routes, and they had routes that had to come all the way across the field. And he was buying time to make sure they got across and completing the routes. Now, 2 things. To me, I'm still worried about our pass rush. Bro, we don't have a pass rush. And if you get any quarterback that kind of time, they're going to kill us. That's one of my concerns like you were talking about. And, of course, that's going to affect the secondary. So that and the other thing, Herm, and I give it to you, us running the ball. We hadn't been running the ball good. The first weeks of the season, half of the season, we averaged over 5 yards a carry. These last few weeks, we've been averaging 3.3 yards a carry. Now, that may not sound like a lot to people just listening to that disparity, but if you're an offensive lineman, if you're an offense, that's a big disparity in your run game to go through, especially in the middle of a season. So those
it's interesting you mentioned that then. So break this down for me. So you have the offensive line. What have you seen? Because we've seen 2 weeks now, and we've seen where the offensive line, I mean, they've played okay as far as the pass. I think they've done okay in terms of as it relates to pass protection. But you would think, given the ability to run the football that the Lions have, that the line would have been more effective or fired off a little bit more. And I've even mentioned this, when Jared Goff is throwing the ball 50 plus times like that in the game, you've abandoned your running game 100%, because that's just not the numbers that they put up. They're in that 20 to 30 pass, in terms of throwing the football. But, yeah, right. So when I see them abandon that, it's not so much they're giving up, but there's a strategy that has changed and has shifted. Yes, you get Montgomery going down. Some people thought that, okay, if that guy's injured, maybe you're going to keep the rotation going. You bring in Craig Reynolds, you bring in another player that can keep at least them knowing that they, for the effectiveness of the play action, the effectiveness of being able to wear down your defense, the fact that they did have high average per carries coming into the last 2 weeks. Do you think there's something going on along the offensive line? Have you seen some areas there where there's been some weaknesses?
Well, I've seen, I would say what I've seen defenses do to us more so up front, Herm, is more so, especially this last with Buffalo, because they are a smaller defense and most defensive lines don't match up with our offense because we have such a big and good offensive line. So now what you see them doing is a lot of movement. You don't see them guys just right there taking these big linemen on them, or they slanting. They running ETs, they running TTs. They're doing different things. So as a lineman, you stepping, the blocker guy, that guy's supposed to be there, but yet said this guy slants inside, then that kind of throws the blocking off. They getting penetration. So anytime, if you get penetration on a running back early before he gets the ball, or right when he gets the ball, if he has to stop his feet, man, that's costing time. And with that play, that's you know what I'm saying? That's giving the defense an opportunity to close those gaps or do whatever they need to do to bring that tackler down. So that's what we seeing a lot more, because teams come into the game, they know they can't match up against our offensive line. Panay Sewell, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnar and them guys. We got some dogs up front. So now they got to do different things. And I think, too, man, our guys, man, it just seemed like they were tired, Herm. For some reason, that first half, it was like they were playing in sand. It seemed like nobody wasn't crisp. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like they were lethargic in that first half. And like you say, now we can't fall behind because of all the injuries we got on defense.
I think when you get you have a tendency, you go against an offense that can match you with firepower. I think that was something that became a little bit of a concern for this offense. And I think when they fell behind and they saw how easily, because this team hasn't been caught off guard like that to where they're having to play from behind and points, and to be playing against an offense that there wasn't a way to stop them. There was no answer defensively that you could come up with. And I also want to say this, you had mentioned that a lot of teams come in and they know how great and how good players are or units are on this Detroit Lions offense. But I'll argue against this, and this as well as I do. You can feel that you're overmatched. You can feel that there's a team that has more superior talent or whatever it may be, right? All these things are lining up for you, but they don't care. They don't care that you have a stud offensive line. Guys want to come in because it's just like anything else. They want to make a name and saying they want to disprove what people are all up, and feeling real good about, right? The Lions have a target on their back right now. People want them to fall. If there's at least 31 other teams who don't want the Lions to win football games, right? So it doesn't matter what we can strategically think on paper, we can statistically talk about. You don't know what the motive is team to team. But I will say this, they're sniffing is like anything else. There's something wrong. They sniff that there's vulnerabilities in the Lions. They're sensing that there's ways in which this team can be beat. I liken it to when you saw Mike Tyson, right? He was invincible. He was the bully. He was beating everybody in the mouth until all of a sudden Buster Douglas gave him an uppercut. And all of a sudden he's like, man, this guy, if you come at him this way or that way, it forces him to do certain things. And then I won't say he was never the same. And there's obviously all these other things that have happened. I think that's what's happening with the Lions. We're going to figure out now that they're in this state, how do they handle it?
But
how can they continue to win?
But they bullying us, Herm. They trying to bully us.
That's what I'm saying. I know. That's what I'm saying. Teams are going to try and bully us right now.
But it's like right now they doing it with one of my hands tied behind my back because I ain't got my soldiers.
But come on, Lo, man. But you can make the same. But listen, hello, you can make the same case. You can make the same case and argument for every team. Every team's got injuries, man. Every team's got injuries.
But every team ain't got 18 on one side of the ball.
But it doesn't matter. Hey, Lomas, there's no rules
now why it don't matter? Why?
So what they gonna do? So what
I
do?
know
Stop?
it don't matter in football realm between.
So what the team gonna do? Stop?
But
They gonna stop playing?
But what I'm saying, I understand what you.
I'm saying, what are they gonna do?
In the football
we know what's happened has happened. Doesn't matter. What are the remedies? What can they do about it?
I understand what you're saying. Well, they doing what they can. They bringing guys in off the streets. All I'm saying to you is, are we fighting with our full complement of guys? Are we? Are we?
It
not?
doesn't matter. All right, let's say you. All right, Lomas. Here's the deal.
So you're
not
gonna argue with me about this now.
No,
with
all right,
facts,
but I don't know where you're going with it. I'm trying to figure out where you're going
with
because.
Facts.
But I'm saying, so what if they're? I don't care if they have 25 guys down. Who cares? It doesn't matter. We care as fans. We care as alum. We care as people.
Well,
who care
that's
for
what
the
I'm
team.
talking about.
But I'm talking about. I'm asking you this. Let's bring reality back. That's where we are. And I'm asking you, what are we going to do? What is this team going to do? What are their options? What do you see as being realistically the approach going forward?
My whole thing is, like I say, this team has, if you look at this Bills game, it came down to the last 12 seconds of the game. We lost the game in the last 12 seconds. So it ain't like they beat us down. So to me, this is going to be a resilient team. I see that. You're going to have to just beat us to sleep or beat us till it says 0-0-0 on the clock.
I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
Type of guys
no doubt.
That they're bringing in. And I know, like I say, we playing with one hand behind our back. But again, it's so much. And not just playing that way. We're going to have to be coached that way. Aaron Glenn can't do some of the things that he want to do. Think about what he got, man.
I still don't know what I still don't know where you're going. I mean, you're just telling me stuff, but you're just telling me what we already know. I mean, we know they're injured, right?
Okay, right. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying to you, Herm, is like I say, we're not fighting with our full complement of guys. We know what type of guys we're going to have. We're going to have a gritty team that's going to play to the end. I don't know what more they can do. I don't know what more the guys in the locker room can do to bring up those guys that they're just bringing into the fold. I don't know. After a while, you start looking around the locker room. I've been in locker rooms. I started looking around, and you don't recognize a lot of these guys because a lot of these guys you started off with, they're not in that locker room anymore. So, quiet down.
Hey, Chrissy being loud over there while we over here talking. Listen, man.
Yeah, what she did.
Here's I guess where I'm going, and I want everybody
which is the irony of this whole thing. All right, wrap it up. And we got a special guest coming in.
All right, I know we have someone who is extremely special. We want to make sure it comes in.
And I'd like to say something.
That's probably going to get in the ring, and I don't know if she's going to announce that Lomas and I are going against each other right here, or if she's going to be the mediator and just try and calm everything down, because there's somewhere I want to go with this, Lo, and I'm trying to get you there with me so we can have a good conversation. But let's go ahead and let's break up the.
I'm trying to figure out where you're trying to get me at.
I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you there.
Are we good to move forward, Herman?
Yes, please. Let's do.
Okay, let's bring in Miss Rachel Stewart of Gardner White fame. Rachel,
I think it's Lomas though.
Hey, Rachel, how are you? How you doing? So Rachel, burning question right now. Okay, we're gonna flip this whole thing to the business scene. Okay. All right. I'm quite sure during the pandemic, you guys went through it, right? Not being able to have your full array of people in there, missing people, things that didn't go right. So as the leader, as a leader of that company, what were some of the first things you thought that you had to do to make sure that your team was going to continue to execute at a high level, even though you were shorthanded? Rachel, this me with one of your hands behind your back. The government telling you what you can. The government telling you what you can and you can't do. You know, so you're scrapped. You're strapped. Tell me how you got through that. Please talk to me as a leader.
Oh, geez.
Yes, I want to throw it on you.
No pressure to give Lomas exactly the answer that he's looking for.
I don't know. I don't think I can. No, I'll never forget. There's one day right during the shutdown where it was like me and one guy in accounting who actually showed up in the office. And, you know, it was like when you didn't know what was going to happen, so you were too cheap to turn on the heat. And I remember sitting there typing gloves and 2 coats, and I was pregnant. Like, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted to be doing. But no, what did we do? I think, honestly, I think we had a great team and they stepped up. I mean, I think like that's the best part. Like, you look, our president of sales, she was like, you know, like she was just on it, man. And like, okay, we're going to pivot to e-com. Let's do this thing. Like, let's teach us how Salesforce how to sell online. And like, you know, during the shutdown, what was it? I think it must've been April. We were 70% of revenue the year prior with no stores open, but like, you know.
So here's a question that Rachel on that in that same context. So was it in the preparation? Because right now you have standard operation and procedures, right? And you have a way in which you have protocol. There are some things that were unknown, you didn't know, but everybody's going through it.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through it. Same thing. You're not alone. And yet you're trying to do all these things to try and make sure that your company, your team is able to come out and perform at that high level, regardless of who's available. You know, you have attrition, you have employees are staying, you got employees that are going, you got things that are not working, you got to change out some systems, things you had that you normally would work with under normal circumstances there, then all of a sudden you don't have those. You have to innovate. Would you do the same thing, or do you say, hey, we're in it, this is what we're doing, everybody's got to do what they got to do? I mean, what's the
all day long?
Exactly.
Sorry,
I use Rachel as one here.
No, we're just trying to show that there's a great correlation between athletic, professional sports, and all these things in terms of how it's operated and run. And I think that's what's been the change with what's happened with the Lions. It's run both with the business and the management of, call it the HR or the people side of it. And all of that's now working together and not against each other. And I think that's why we love talking business about it, because
they're going to pull it off. Come on.
Well, Gardner White this year, you guys are partnered with the Lions.
Yeah.
So what has that been like this year, considering the season that the Lions are having?
Well, so it was great. I mean, oh man, I was at the game Sunday night, and I was listening to Mr. Lomas on my way home, and it was like, you know, like I need to breathe a little there. So I was so grateful to find you. But outside of Sunday, it's been spectacular. And they've been, I say it like I really mean it, they have been so easy to work with, which is not the case for all teams. Like, you know, what Herman just said, they get the business side. So like, you know, they're commenting on an ad, their turnaround is like an hour, and they give you rational things that aren't just legalese that's never going to see the light of day in a commercial. Like, awesome to work with. And I think, you know, they've also given us the most important thing, which is believability, that they're going to go all the way here. And that's been great. And I think, you know, working with the entire communities and some great alums, that has made it so much more fun too. I mean,
I'm just remembering if they win the Super Bowl, you're going to be handing out some checks to fans, right?
Let us hope. You know, like, it's making me nuts right now. Well, every time they win, people get like, "Oh, you're going to be in for it. You got to write a check." We wouldn't do this if we didn't want to write a check. I mean, we did think this one through. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. So any big things coming up for the new year? I know the calendar's getting ready to turn. You guys thinking about any big things? I know that Lions still being played. I know we're still being played because that game's in February. But are you guys planning on doing anything for the big new year?
So know what I love? One thing I love about working with the Lions is they say they're superstitious. They are superstitious. So there's so many things that we'd love to do to plan around February, but nope. Nothing.
On their way, huh? Yeah.
Which, while it's frustrating from a where we sit perspective, I totally respect it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of big ideas in our heads. Whether they happen, we'll see. And then we're out. You know us. We always got some tricks up our sleeves.
All right. So King says he desperately needs a new couch. So he needs to go to Gardner White immediately.
Tell him the Maverick. Get you a Maverick.
I love it.
Maverick
so
too.
with Blue Lions affiliation, have you been selling more, game day furniture?
Yeah. Well, the Maverick, I mean, like, my friend over here can really sling it, like, better than anyone. He came in, he's like, I've been watching video. I know all the features and benefits. Let's do this thing.
There's Herman that went in with his blankie and tried out all the different ones.
We have one now that has a refrigerator.
Did they tell you I come down there most of the time and I'm just hanging out because I come in, I check the volume, I just sit down, I'm moving around everywhere. I'm getting my settings right. I'm in there, I'm charging my phone. It's got everything you need. And I'm not here to tell people and sell you on that, but I'm telling you, it is the ultimate thing for me to sit there and be able to watch that, because then I can kind of zone out on my own because of the way you have the surround sound built into it. And you just continue to see how furniture is evolving and how it's becoming just a great space. And an asset, not just something you just go sit on and everybody's kind of chilling, but it's got all these other functionalities and technology built into it.
Oh yeah, one way to look at the Maverick.
So Maverick 2 is what I'm looking at. It's really good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a vagrant that hangs out there at your stores.
That's right. Hey, Lomas, I brought my blanket and everything. I brought blankets and everything.
Sitting on all your good furniture. When growing
That's
up, remember you had that room in the house where you couldn't go in there and sit on the good furniture. Herman's going around just sitting on all your good furniture in your store.
I love it.
Hey, Rachel, hold on a second. Rachel, have you ever watched Dave Chappelle show?
What?
Dave Chappelle show. You ever watch that?
Of course. Yeah.
So Lomas was Dave when he was playing Rick James jumping on Eddie Murphy's white sofa. So before you play it, I've seen Lomas Brown do his Rick James impression. You're lucky we don't have it pulled up. And so Lomas, I know that's you. Don't let Lomas over there in your Gardner White home furniture store, because he'll be in there. He'll come out wearing.
That'd be a great viral video. I like where your head's at. That would be really funny. Lomas?
Everybody can go to Gardner White's feed or Herman's feed to see him at the store with his Herm and Lo blanket trying out all the different sofas.
So go to the mattresses. You see him lying down.
And then he did his best Rachel impression at the end.
Oh, that's funny. Yep.
That was good.
I do need to get multiple children's bedroom sets, so I will be swinging through.
Can do.
And I peep it out too, because there's so much to get there. As I'm building out my fan cave and I'm building out a lot of my other sets, we've been there peeping out a lot of the stuff that we're using and getting. So been a loyal fan and customer for decades, and we continue to do that because it's been just great service. The people are great there too, by the way. Kudos to your HR team and to the management team. They do a great job.
That's the magic right there.
All right, so close it out. What do you got going on right now that our fans should go check out, deals they could get for their fan cave furniture?
So go now, because the deal, like, you kind of don't have to wait. Right now we're doing after Christmas, before Christmas. So, especially in this town, the week between Christmas and New Year's is always big, but why don't you have it? You can go and get it for the holidays. And actually we're the only place that can still deliver. So.
Why is that?
We do same day delivery, but we actually are like in stock. It's not like an advertising gimmick. So you can go today, you can, through what shopped in the stores through the 23rd, and you can still head on the 24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come
Lomas is not gonna come over there like Sanford and Son. Hey, Lomas, let's go over there like Sanford and Son, man.
Yeah,
you get the truck, and you and I will go, man. We'll pick up stuff. We can go over to the center over there in Auburn Hills.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
There you go.
I'm gonna film me coming in there to shop, Rachel. I'm gonna do
that.
Let me know, Lo. I'll come record.
I love when people come in, they shop, and then the guy who runs our advertising agency, he got to the same day delivery. This stuff's real. Like, do you know you write the script all the time? Yes, it's real. you can have the same experience.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Oh, I appreciate it. Have fun, guys. Now back to sparring.
We'll let them get back to arguing with each other.
Breaking bread.
Yeah.
There it is. Thanks, Rachel. Hey, so Lo, let me go back to you. Don't think I was gonna let you skate.
Oh
So listen,
my
man.
goodness.
He's like,
Listen. But no, I'm like, what? What was that? What was that? You ready to say, Miss Chrissy? Huh?
just that you were sitting there like waiting, like
No,
get
man.
back
No, it's
in.
always great, man. Rachel, and getting to know her, Bridget, their entire team over there has been awesome. Also, I know Lomas does a lot of work with them. Not just trying to pitch them or anything like that, but I'm telling you, man, super good people, great stuff.
But
that they
Herm,
do. I love it.
I think the misnomer about Gardner White, and until I got to know them and start dealing with them, I think people think they don't have the high-end furniture, or they don't have furniture that I can go in there and afford. Man, they got every level. Man. So wherever your budget is, you could go to Gardner White. I think that's the most impressive thing to me about them.
I just need delivery. Delivery is amazing. I get everything delivered now.
Chrissy, didn't that sound good? Didn't that sound like, man,
we made the same face. It's actually on video. We both went.
You see how we bring it? That's what I'm saying. You got to put passion into it. We'll teach that young man this one. But go ahead with your question.
Well, hold on. No, I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer this one for David. Go ahead. David wants you to answer this, man. He had a question.
Going live. Well, first of all, really, I don't go out there because we're not allowed to go out there during the season and watch practice. So, I know it's different. I don't think that's the case. I know a lot has been said that maybe they should look at their medical team because of all these injuries, or maybe he's practicing them too hard, or they not. I just don't think that's the case. If you think about it, this is the same guy that's taking the same chances, that's gambling when we were 3-13-1. This is the same guy. He hadn't changed. When we weren't winning, Dan was doing the same thing he's doing now. So I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there and play. Yeah, Dan does not strike me as a coach that's gonna push players hard in practice.
Think about this, Christy. When we made that trade to get Zadarius Smith, it was Cleveland. They were supposed to get their bye week. Remember that next week? He told him to take the week off. We're gonna give you your bye week. We needed that man on the field, but instead of him making them come out and playing that Lions game, he told me he gonna give them the bye week. So they watch out for guys, and especially as many injured guys as we've drafted too. I don't think that's the case.
Herman, so I want you to talk about this in terms of the cadence of the game and
I like that question.
Jameson Williams incorporated into the game a little bit more, because you talked about this I don't even remember if it was the beginning of this season or last season, but you talked about the fact that he really needs to be in the game.
Right. I want to say this though, before I go on to answer that question. Lomas, I'm coming back to this. Don't think I'm just letting you ice skate a bill on this. I'll come back to it, but I'm gonna move on. Man, just close your mouth, man. Just close your mouth. Listen, I'm coming back to it.
I don't even know.
Hold on. Go back to the question. Let me bring that up, because I do want to talk about some personal observations and some things as it relates to just the passing part of it. Because Jay Moore, I think this year, I think he really has come on quite a bit. I think there's a maturity level that he hit, and a stride that he had hit, a confidence that he had received from Jared Goff, the offensive coordinator, the Coach Campbell, the offense as a whole, and the team in terms of reliability. And then we start to see him gradually, not get as many passes. I would say the last few games, it just seems like there's more spots where he's utilized. When they've used him in a stride to where he's running and playing more on the middle of the field versus on just the outside, it looks like, okay, they've kind of pushed him back. And I'll have to go back and look at the film, because I don't want to say this hastily and say this without going back and validating it. But he was running a lot of crossing routes. He was running a lot of in routes. He was doing a lot in motion. They were throwing him some quick passes and then allowing him to try and make some moves or match up problems by having him move across the offensive set. And it seemed like it was more outside numbers. I don't know if that was because there was something they saw on film and they didn't want to attack Buffalo in the middle with him as much as we've seen. And they were throwing the passes further to the outside. But then the fact that he wasn't touching it as much, he could have been called the one on a lot of those routes. I don't know. I don't know what the progression was in a lot of those routes, but you have to have those guys that you want to depend on throughout a game and be ready and be available. They need touches or they need attempts thrown at them. And I just see those going down. I just don't see him getting it enough. And then you try and throw the ball deep to him like we saw early in his career, and he became inconsistent. And then you start to question whether or not, he's kind of mentally in it, but also his hands are there. And I think you want to be careful with that, with a player that you've tried to build along the way. Sam Laporta is great to have him back. You got St. Brown, who is your most dependable asset in the passing game. And when you can get all those working together, they do become a juggernaut. They do become an unstoppable offense when you have the running game, the passing game, because you really can't double anyone. You force teams into man, or you force them to just whatever you throw at them, they just got to take it. Nothing they can do about it. And so that's what I saw there. St. Brown, I think he's doing a lot. He's having to carry a lot of that weight and be the guy that gets open. We see teams are playing different coverages on him, but yet when you leave him alone and you forget about him in certain areas, or he has that opportunity to work one-on-one in some instances, he's able to defeat that coverage. So I just want to make sure that we're continuing to pay attention to that, because I think he's going to be a big asset for them when you need those big chunk plays and you need those home run hitters as teams start to clamp down on Laporta and they start to clamp down on St. Brown, and they start to figure out how do we defend that as they paid attention to the running game.
I wonder how you gonna sound when you like in your 70s. I was just like when you was talking, I was just wondering like how you gonna sound how
like you sound right now.
No, I don't think you're gonna get this country twang. I don't think you're gonna ever get this. But I was just wondering. That was just crossing my mind, Chrissy, while he was talking.
That's just interesting,
Like when he get like 70, like when he get about 78, like how he gonna be sounding.
Herman just talked for like
his hands.
Herman just talked for like 3 minutes. I mean, he's really breaking it down. Like he's really.
But here's the thing. But
and then Lo's like,
I don't care
how you're gonna sound when you're 70.
But look, I don't care, because here's what I hate. I'm gonna tell you. Listen. And we gonna always break it down and come back to real. This is what I hate. I hate when we just have people, they want to talk about the game, they want to talk about players, they want to talk about what they saw, what they heard, what this television network said, what Lomas and Dan said on the radio, and what Coach Campbell said in his press conference and all that. No, man, it's bigger than that. I don't listen. I'm gonna spend my time looking at the game. I'm gonna use the knowledge that I have, and I'm gonna look at it in a totally different way, and I'm gonna evaluate it totally differently. If everyone wants to be surface and it makes them feel comfortable about talking about it at a certain level, talk about it at that level. But you can't break down what's happening. If it was that easy to say, okay, I'm gonna chat GPT myself and just go, okay, Herman, tell me this thing that takes 3 minutes, tell me in 2 minutes, or tell me in 30 seconds how to say it. It's not gonna work, because now you're missing the details. You just something that is just kind of a whatever.
But he could be a coach. No,
all I'm saying is,
this accomplishment.
if you're not going to give me the detail, and you're not going to break it down and make it make sense,
you could be a good coach.
I don't want to just hear you just talk, man. I can do that to myself, record myself and just put it on in the background, right?
I feel you. I always used to think it was funny when people that I knew personally would come to tell me what was going on with the team when I was working there, because they heard it on the radio.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and they would argue with me like, no, that's not happening. I heard it on 97.1. I'm like, but I'm actually in the building.
See, the balance here is, Chrissy, listen, here's the balance here too. See, Lomas, you're with the team, you're going to know like every guy. I'm going to admittedly say, I'm not going to know every guy. I just don't. I'm committed enough, but I'm committed enough to go, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And who did it? And what did they do? And then knowing whether or not, based on I'll use this analogy the other day. We were talking about how do you grade players. So let's say a player goes out and they have a great game and they make a lot of tackles, right? It could be a lot of tackles, but it could be because they made tackles even out of position and they weren't even in the right spot. It could be a player making a catch because they were in the wrong area. The quarterback just happened to throw the ball there and they caught it, but that's not the play. You still get a negative grade on that. You don't get a positive grade at the NFL level because you necessarily did something right, even though you were wrong. they may give you a forgiveness, or it may have just worked out for you. But this is a game about precision. It's about discipline. Dan Campbell has checked his boxes, man. I gotta find team members that are going to play together and play as one, not as individuals. They're going to bring great individual efforts, but they're going to play together as one. 2, they're going to come in, they're coachable, but they're also those that can come out and be leaders of themselves. So once we give it to them, they got to make real-time decisions on the field that are going to be right or wrong. They're going to have to make some adjustments that we can't go out here and hold their hands. They're going to have to be better than what they were when we brought them in. You know, they have to know our system through and through, in and out. They got to make our system work. They got to improve it. They don't want complainers, right? He's checking all these other boxes that people don't realize that is in the detail of what makes for a really, really good competitive football team through and through. And you've built the culture. So to your point earlier, when you said, listen, I don't worry about this team quitting, not going to quit. I don't worry about this team, no matter who the players are. They have who they have. They'll pick up whoever they pick up. Those players play at your best position, minimize the mistakes, be sound in your assignment, be disciplined in everything that you do, and be committed. That's it. That's always going to ask. You know what the results are going to be? The results are going to be the results.
Right.
Period.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean,
so that's the only where I was going.
I don't know what Chrissy said to you, but you can.
No. But I wanted to go back to what you were going. You was like, man, Herm, it's like we got one arm tied behind our back, and we got something going over here. You know, we got the guy over here that took my. We got a person over here that took this guy took my lunch money, so I can't get an extra pizza. And this guy over here is waiting for me after school, and I'm scared
you were yelling at me.
I know, Chrissy.
You bringing in all this stuff, man. I'm like, man, listen, no. Tell me how this thing. Tell me how this thing.
Talking about me. I know. I am.
But listen, I just wanted to break you down. Listen, all I'm saying to you, the conversation I want you and I to have, because big fella, I know you got the answers. Listen, how will this team do with what they have to work with? What are the plans, or what plans do you see, or you think, based on your knowledge of the game and the sport and what you see over there, what can they do? What should they be doing to be competitive?
Herman J, I think the only thing we just gonna have to out scheme some people too.
All right,
I mean, we don't have the personnel.
Give me a scheme. What kind of scheme?
Herm. I mean, I know we played a wide 9 technique on defense,
and we lost containment. We kept losing containment. Don't understand how that was happening.
Exactly right. Know why? Because there's guys out there that they just signed to the roster a week ago, and they don't really know how to play the wide 9. Or these guys
don't let anybody outside you. That is about as basic as it comes.
Herm, we know, but in the course of the game, Herm,
it doesn't matter.
Back the games you've been in. Come on now, Herm.
Listen, all I know is this. I'm gonna give you a case in point.
Can I say this before you give me this case? Can I say this? This is why they say very good players don't make good coaches. It's because they expect players to play at the level they played at. You can't think at where you at, Herm. You was one of the best ever. Everybody's not like that. Everybody's not blessed to be one of the best ever.
That's talent.
So you have to take.
We're talking talent. I'm talking execution of assignment. Totally two different things. All right.
Okay.
Two different things.
Herm. Now you trying to tell me
I can't make a person taller. You can't make me faster.
But somebody could physically be better than you. I don't been out physical on plays. I know where I was going. I knew the assignment, but I couldn't get it done. That play, that guy was better than me. Why you trying to tell me a guy
we missed each other? I'm not talking about talent versus talent, Lo. You going physical. You talking about the physical part of something. I'm talking about this. Listen, it's this. I'm talking about this right here, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean by this.
Isn't it both, Herm?
No, but it is. But listen, so I'm gonna give you a point. I'm going against. I got a flat route coming out. Right. I'm a Z receiver. I have a slot receiver who's gonna run the flat. Right. And I know that they're in 2-man, and this guy is not even 2-man, 2-zone. And they're saying, you know what? I don't care what you have to do, because we can't let that guy that's sitting at 2 deep. I have to go on the outside. I can't slip him. Even if I have to run out of bounds, I have to run on his outside edge. If I run inside, I definitively know, objectively, I was wrong.
Okay.
Period.
Right.
Period. Because if I run and I keep stretching that guy wide and I just try and force the outside, no matter what he does, I'm holding that guy. That's my assignment.
Right.
Period.
I
It has nothing to do with being physical, whether it's me or whether it's whoever. The guy is fourth down the chart.
But Herm, okay. So
now physically, and if you talk about talent is a whole different deal. If you want to go
I'm not even talking really talent, Herm. So let's take that example. Okay, I'm a defensive end. I got a wide 9 technique. Okay. I'm a guy that just got here. Just pick one.
And I tell you, don't let anything go outside of you.
Don't go right. Now again, I'm a guy that just got here, Herm. Right.
And so I told you, don't let anybody go outside you.
Okay. So
unless you're from Florida, did I go to University of Florida?
If it was that easy, wouldn't everyone just play perfectly?
Thank you, Chrissy. But look, I'm trying. He won't.
Hey, go catch a touchdown, Herman. Didn't I tell you to go catch a touchdown?
Right.
That's not what they said. No.
He's physically better.
That's athletic ability. That's athletic ability. If the play is there, make the play. If they say do not let the quarterback get outside of you, please, people, chime in and tell me if that's a hard task to tell somebody.
What if the offensive line forces you inside? Isn't that athletic ability?
This man, I keep telling him, Herm, everybody didn't have your physical ability. Are you kidding me? And then
please somebody jump in. Hey, will y'all? Hey,
okay. Let me ask you this. You telling me every battle against some of the best cornerbacks you ever went against, you won every battle? Tell me.
I did not win every battle.
Okay, so Herm, that's all I was trying to say with this defensive end stuff that's going on with.
Come on, Sean. I gotta let Lomas get through this. Hold up.
No, I'm just
calm down.
Herm,
just hold on a second. Sean, hold on a second. Let me let Lomas get through this.
In the game of football, this is the game of football where it's mentality and this physicality, Herm. It's both. You have
Herman
to have
hates
both.
Physicality.
Everybody's not a physical specimen, especially guys we're pretty much bringing off the streets, Herm, or second string guys or guys that are not used to being in that role, Herman Moore. You know this. You played the game. Why are you acting like you didn't play the game?
All right, so here we go. So if so you understand when we say there's assignment. That's part one. Assignment. I'm not talking about athletic ability. If I tell you you're on this team, they don't say to the guy who's a Z, if I'm 3 deep and I got 3 guys backing me up at the Z receiver, and we all are supposed to run outside the defensive guy because it's too deep and it's a flat route coming to us, it does not mean because you are less talented, you get to run inside. That is not how it works.
What in the world?
What are you listening?
Well, let's just go tell all the DBs, don't let them catch a pass.
But that's what I'm saying. Are you talking about? We're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking to you about.
So are you telling me that so I think this goes back to what we started with the defensive ends losing contain in Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You blamed it on the guys being new. And not having
I basically blamed it on the guy not being. I blame it on the guy getting physically beaten. Herm, the guy got physically beat. You saying that the guy was, if he had contained, he was supposed to stay there. Yeah, if he knew that was contained, he was supposed to keep his outside shoulder free. Herm,
stop talking about his talent. Stop talking about his talent. Stop talking about he got there and he just somehow he couldn't understand.
I didn't say he didn't understand that, man.
You can't play at the NFL. Man, you can't even play a Pop Warner League if somebody tells you, don't let this guy get outside. Listen, when you already are outside and you choose to go inside because you saw the quarterback step up, and you decide to reroute, that's on you. Your assignment says stay here. That's discipline. That's difference, man. Like if a coach tells me, listen, Lomas, Herman, you know what? I don't give a damn what happens. You run down the middle of the field, and when you run down there, you got to go take the safety with you, and you need to run and just run through that. You have to clear out, and you have to clear out to the side. That he gave me the objective.
Nobody redirected you, and nobody redirected you, right? Nobody
doesn't matter.
If the defensive assignment was as a cornerback, okay. When you see Herman Moore coming here, You redirect him. We don't want Herman Moore going where? Where were you supposed to go? You saying in the middle?
In the middle.
You was going up the half. I don't want Herman going up the middle. That's my assignment. I want to redirect him to the outside. Right?
That's his assignment. But what about my assignment?
You won every one of those battles like that in your distinguished career.
I did not. And that's where let's go here.
Why didn't you?
Because I broke protocol and did what I was not supposed to do.
So it wasn't nothing to do with the player.
It had nothing to do with talent. It was me screwing up my assignment.
So it was all on you. Nothing to do with the talent.
It had nothing to do with that person. That person has nothing to do with it.
You know what that says to me? Like I say, Herman, you played at this level. Everybody don't play at this level, Herman. You're all pro.
You can't play on this team if you can't play at that level. If you can't play, listen, you can't win championships.
Everybody on both sides can't do what they're wanting to do, or
hold on. But Chrissy, let me tell you what, you'll be like we were in our time. You almost there. You almost got it done. Almost doesn't get you a championship, bro.
Herman, come on, man. If we had that same team we came into the season with, me and you wouldn't be arguing at this point. I would agree with you 130%.
But I'm telling you, just like you admitted,
we don't have that same team we came in with. We got a lot of guys we don't even know, or a lot of guys we missed the point. We're not talking.
I'm not even arguing with you that it's the same team. This team is not the same healthy as it is hurt. That's common sense. That doesn't make any sense. I get that. This team can't run the same schemes when you're missing a Aiden Hutchinson, or you're missing a David Montgomery, or you're missing a Jared Goff. He's no longer the quarterback. You got to bring in another quarterback. You can't run the same things. But if the coach says, listen, that's your first read, quarterback comes in, he goes, that's read number 1, that's read number 2, and that's read number 3. Or if he goes, hey, if that guy walks up there, you're going to check to this. That's assignment. They don't say, hey, if he walks up here, whatever you want to call, you call. And if you want to call it, no.
You know what? You telling these people, I can't believe you selling our audience.
Wow.
You trying to make the NFL. I can't believe how simple you trying to make it sound.
No, I can't believe how complex you're trying to make.
So Herm,
Lomas, you're a tackle. So how did you combat
Chrissy? But what I'm saying to him, Chrissy, what I'm saying to Herman J. Moore, you throw in testosterone, you throw in just attitude, you throw in guys being in the game, you throw in all I'm saying, Herm, all the ancillary things we're going with playing in the game, your emotions, just everything that goes into a game. These guys timing it up, or they showing you a different look right before the ball is snapped and you got to adjust. Herm, you know all the
you click that
motion. So you know how much motion Buffalo was running? So you're a young guy going into that. I understand what you're saying about this, but Herm, when you see something sometime, you know it catches your eye. I can't believe you trying to make it sound like it's just
that's not simple. We're completely
assignment ready. I can't believe you saying this.
You missing what I'm saying, Lomas.
I must be.
I can't believe you trying to compare a wide. Don't let anything outside of you. Simple as it gets. I mean, it's like if the referee runs outside of you, somebody got outside your containment. Like it's like don't let anyone that outside of you always stay on his outside and force him back inside. If that, listen, man, come on.
But suppose my assignment as an offensive lineman
would you want players that if the coach said, hey, and they keep telling you, how much would you
guys
love
got like 15 more seconds.
I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, let it go, Herm. Let it go. We'll agree to disagree. Let it go.
All right, so before we
we're
go,
saying two different things. That's all I'm saying.
No, we're not gonna ever agree.
He ain't gonna let it go. Let it go.
All right, so before we go, we're gonna do a merch vote. So I know, Herman, what you think about the Northern Savages. What do you think about that, Lo?
That name?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
They should have thrown that in the chat GPT. Yeah, they should have thrown that in there and played that.
I don't know if I like the Savages.
Let me see what I can find you real quick.
I'm
sure how hard it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the savages. That just sounds.
I'm not a fan either, to be honest.
Yeah.
But check this out, Lo. Check out our new merch from yesterday. What you think about that, Lo?
And up. Yeah,
Isn't that
that's
nice?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty proud of that.
That's right. That's nice there.
Yeah.
Next man.
You want me to send you one of those?
Hey, yeah, please, Chrissy, could you?
What's your size?
And I would take big fella size. So let me go. Is that XLT? No, we do. Do we do talls?
Herman can help you. Is the Under Armour pretty? Is the Under Armour okay for the tees, Herman?
Yes.
We'll get you an Under Armour one.
I like Under Armour. I like those.
Under Armour. I want an Under Armour one.
Do you want a white or a black?
Oh, I'll take the black. Well, why can't I get one of each?
You can get one of each. I'll give you one of each.
A black and a white, please.
Okay.
Yes, I think that'd be fashionable.
Okay, you just need to send me your address.
Okay, I surely will. I can do that.
Great.
Herman Moore, do you need me? Do you still need me, Herman Moore?
I do, Lomas Brown.
I have other business to take care of.
No, you don't.
Moore.
You don't have anything else to do.
Man. I got a 3:30, even though it's only 3:08. But I have a 3:30. I have things to do. I don't know why you don't think I don't have things to do. What's wrong with you? I'm a
all right. So to recap our show.
Yes. Oh, I like the recap.
Gardner White for your furniture needs.
Yes, Rachel's
if you're told to not let anyone outside you in the wide 9, dang it, you sure as heck better not let anybody outside.
Oh my God. Okay. Chrissy.
And go to Lions Nation Unite for your merch.
All right. Thank you.
And go Lions.
How about that?
The Lions. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Who said you could type in the chat, Herman?
No, I'm just saying, man. I'm just looking at how you come up with.
I didn't say you could type in the chat.
There's like 500 names over here, man. It's like I'm gonna work on something. We're gonna keep throwing them out there. Y'all need to help us figure out the names because I want to make sure that it's something that, yeah.
All right, everybody. Till next time, Lomas, make sure your video uploads.
Hey, Lomas.
All right.
There's a difference between talent and assignment. So I'm just telling you.
Don't let him get the last word, Lo. Don't let him.
Lomas don't even know what I said. He
I know what you said,
Lomas.
man. I just can't believe what's coming out your mouth. That's what I can't believe. I can't believe you saying. But again, anyway.
Hey, Lomas. Hey, Lomas. Go ahead, man. For you miss the people picking you up.
Chrissy, have a wonderful day, please.
You as well, Lo.
People out there.
All the chat, all the fans.
Hey, I love you, brother.
Hey.
All right, man.